I guess, streaming for you. Welcome to the greatest goddamn show on air. Um, Albeit 10 minutes late. How are you doing, Ruby?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. It's fucking hot down here in the south.
Is it?
It's so hot. Like, you can't sit outside for more than 5. I can barely take a vape break at work because you sit out there and you're just drenched in sweat.
I don't know. I'm losing like sound on you now. All of a sudden, like you're cutting out.
Now you're cutting out.
It's because
It
y'all are
went-
using all the
Yeah,
time.
I can see you now.
You can't see me, or you couldn't.
I can.
But it went away for a second.
Yeah, like it twitched for a second, but then it came back.
Yeah, I was hooked up to my Wi-Fi, and now I'm not. So
Oh, your Wi-Fi can't deal with everybody on it?
all of a sudden, it was fine. Uh. Now it's going in and out. Everything's been acting weird ever since that damn tornado.
Mm.
So like, what's good with you? What are you eating?
Oh, I'm eating an omelet. It's got mushrooms, onions, ham chunks, and jalapenos in it, and cheese. Huh? Some more what?
You need some more variety. My Wi-Fi keeps going out. I don't know what. Somebody get off the Wi-Fi.
Somebody hop off. Draw straws.
Somebody hop off.
Not it.
Right. So I don't know, man. It's always something. Um.
So there's not a lot of variety with my omelet?
Oh,
No, it's an omelet. It is. It's pretty good.
Turn some of that shit off. Turn some of this other shit off. It's not. The Wi-Fi is not working. All right. Let's see if this works now. Anyway, so have you heard the news? Have you been like in the news lately at all?
A little bit, yeah.
What do you think about this like social security thing?
Man, first of all, how'd they get in? Because, I mean, like, can anybody just hack it? Like, it's supposed to be Social Security, and it ain't very
probably somebody on the inside. It's probably somebody who is
dead ass. Probably. I heard they were making demands for like a couple $1 million, and they'll give like the numbers back or something. Okay, but like you could have copied the numbers by now. Like you made copies of the shit. So
That doesn't even make any sense.
what does that mean for them? Like, if their social security number is hacked, and you know it's hacked, can you assign them a new number, or is that not allowed?
They would have. Do you know how many fucking people would have to go through that shit? Like, we don't have the fucking funds for that.
What else are they gonna do? Give them their number back and be like, well, whatever they fucked up. Yeah, it says Social Security, but it's not very secure.
I mean, it never was. It's a paper system. Like, you got your fucking Social Security card, right? It's a piece of paper, and you're not allowed to laminate it.
Yeah, it's not even laminated.
You're not allowed to laminate it either.
And then, did you know there's a limit on like how many Social Security cards you can have in one lifetime?
10. Yes, it's 10 and 3 a year. 3 in 1 year.
It's my fucking number. Why the fuck can't I have? If I lose shit and I'm paying for the shit.
I know for a fact that I'm on like number 4.
I think on 2, but I could be wrong.
Mom kept losing my shit, and then I lost it once.
I've never lost mine. Mine's only ever been lost.
Like, I think Mom lost mine twice. And then my ex lost, my baby mama lost it.
Well, what about that shit with Blake Lively going on right now? Do you like Blake Lively as an actress?
No, I've never understood the appeal about her, if I'm being honest with you. She's not particularly funny. She's moderately pretty, you know, like for Hollywood, she's really average. Like, and not even just average Hollywood, like just average. So you think, okay, well, she's not funny, she's not pretty, she should be more talented. Thank you, Cassidy, I appreciate it. Follow me, I do all kinds of Cleveland stuff. I'm from Cleveland, so yeah, I don't. Blake Lively isn't funny. She isn't particularly gorgeous. You know, she's not ugly. Don't get me wrong, but like, and so you think, oh, okay, well, she must be multi-talented. I've never seen any of that talent on display, and then come to find out, she's a bit of a cunt.
Yeah, come to find out, she's kind of a bitch. Who'd have guessed it?
I mean, like, she's a nepo baby, so like,
Yeah.
she's married to like probably the richest actor in the world because like Ryan Reynolds is like an independently wealthy billionaire on top of him being an actor. Like he's a billionaire outside of acting because he invested in um like a like vodka line, and he's got a clothing line and shit. I don't understand why.
I never knew that.
Yeah, she's just, and then they got married at that plantation or whatever. Like,
What? They did
did you
not.
hear about that last year? They got married
No.
at a plantation. I don't know where. Let me look. I bet you it's in New Orleans.
Ah, that'd be fucked up.
Ryan Reynolds played. Yeah, I'm just going in and out. This is YouTube. This ain't me.
Have been closely involved in and support.
Okay, this is not Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's wedding. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, it just says plantation wedding. Where though? Give me a fucking
Location.
yeah. They're saying there's like a lot of like key. See, I keep getting kicked.
Damn.
Ruby doesn't keep going out. Just Cole. I don't get it, Kyle. What are you talking about?
When you saying the twitching out, you're twitching out, not me.
That's weird. I have like fucking perfect Wi-Fi.
I guess I'm the host and you're the guest today then.
I guess so.
You paid your bill?
Yes. Why wouldn't I? Like, it wouldn't work at all if I hadn't paid my bill.
Yeah, just making sure. You want to see this new lighter I got?
Hey, reset the Wi-Fi. Hit the reset button on it. What is that?
It's a lighter. It gets cooler though. Listen.
Yeah, I've seen those. You're like in 2017, bro.
It says fuck.
You said what? All right. Well, my Wi-Fi just got reset, so let's hope it fucking works. Um, furthermore, am I hooked up? No, I'm not hooked up. Yeah, she was married on Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were married at Boone Hall Plantation in Mount Pleasant. Where's Mount Pleasant? Do you know where that is?
Mm.
Mount Pleasant.
Now, why
Oh,
did
it's
they do,
South Carolina. Yeah.
why did they do that? Why did you get married at a plantation? I'm just curious because you can't tell me you didn't know.
That's
Like, was it
oddly just
like it was
out
just a
of the
cute
way.
venue? Like it was just, oh, look at that venue, it's so nice. Let's get
Right.
married
And
there.
not only that, but like, what were y'all doing in South Carolina? It wasn't like it's not like that's a big tourist attraction. I don't know.
Right. What was the reason? Kind of like when that dude made that song. What was that song that was like going like real crazy online? Small Town or something like that. Did you ever hear about that?
The song? No.
Yeah, it was a song. It was called Small Town, and this country music, you
Oh,
know.
oh,
Yeah,
Jason Aldean. Yeah.
and you know what? I love
I
Jason
remember that.
Aldean, but the courthouse that he was standing in front of when he was filming the video, someone had been lynched there. And
I
then
mean,
you're
that
gonna
happens everywhere. That
hey,
happens literally. There's everywhere is like a racist battleground or a in America, I should say, or a Indian burial ground. Everywhere is just like haunted in
but
a very.
the point I'm getting at is one Google search would have told you about that motherfucking courthouse. He knew. He knew. Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Why'd you get married at a plantation? You knew better. Because you don't care.
I
You're a
mean,
little racist.
I can't say that they got married. That Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively got married for the same at a plantation. The same reason why Jason Aldean picked that courthouse. But I can tell you why Jason Aldean picked that courthouse, and it does not confirm that he's a racist. Okay, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm not gonna say he is. Uh, Kyle's just naming songs now. Jason Aldean picked that courthouse to attract buzz because unless you specifically listen to country, like you're an avid fan of country, have you ever heard the name Jason Aldean? No, but everybody heard it all of a sudden. The guy Jason Aldean. Suddenly, everybody knew who the fuck Jason Aldean was, and they always had. I used to listen to him when I was a kid. No, fuck that guy. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what he's doing, and you're buying into it. You're all buying into it. Okay, he did that shit on purpose. It worked. He is many, many, many dollars richer. Get over it. Like, if he wants to pick, if he wants to pick a place on his music video, that's his prerogative. Just like let it go. Like I think the problem with like all of this like outrage culture has pretty much like died off for the most part, but like it's still trying to hang on. And I think also with racism, there's a lot that like that's still getting a lot of attention. And I think if we just like, what do you do when your child acts a fool? Like a child, not even just your child. You don't have a child, so you wouldn't personally know. But like, what do you do when a younger little? You have a little brother. Okay, what did you do when he was like throwing a fit? When he was like younger?
Tell him to chill the fuck out. Or like stop or just like stop crying. Like get over it.
You just didn't pay it no mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, okay, like that's what you do with these racists, because they're not allowed to be violent anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we don't put up with that. Nobody puts up with that. So, like, anybody who's a racist, like, just ignore them. Just ignore them. You know what I
Pretty
mean?
much. Pretty
Like,
much.
they're just giving them all buzz for no reason, So, racist, sexism, and I'm speaking as somebody who, like, does the exact same thing as Jason Aldean does, where I fucking, bank on the fact that I say outrageous shit to people, um, and people just, like, lose their minds, and then they try to cancel me. Thank you, Shorts. Um, like, I know what I'm doing as well. I'm just banking on the fact that, like, I have an opinion and I know how to use the buzzwords to get the most rage out of a wide range of people. And like, I don't understand why people haven't caught on to that by now. There's a lot of things people have caught on to, but for whatever reason, they haven't. No pop shorts.
Did you see like why everyone was hating on Blake Lively? Like, did you see the interviews they were talking about?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like, so the movie is about domestic violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
kind of like that. I don't know what the plot is. I don't know the synopsis. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't even seen a trailer for it. But I know I've read into it enough to know that the movie is, from my understanding, I believe, it's about two, maybe one, but at least one person in the couple. Blake Lively's playing the girl, and then some other guy, Jacob something, um, is playing the boyfriend or whatever. And like at least one of them, maybe both, are domestic violence victims. Okay, and I guess they like hash it out and like and that it ends with us. I think kind of implies that like we're not gonna be like our parents. We're not gonna be like our exes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like Blake Lively is totally acting like she don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah, she's very out of touch, honestly. Like, just
Right.
very insensitive. And like, just when she opens her mouth, she sounds like a dumbass. Like, as there was one interview like, in particular.
She came up from Gossip Girl. Like, what did you think this girl thought? She is Gossip Girl. She was the main character in Gossip Girl. What did you think? That came out around the same time as Mean Girls. Like that was that whole era of bad bitch, like the first wave of bad bitches. Like, what did you think she thought? You know what I mean? Like, she don't give a fuck. Like, she lives in California, okay? Try existing around a woman for too long. Try breathing the same air as a female in California these days. It's not, as a man, it's not going to go your way. She don't know what the fuck domestic violence is. They breathe wrong. And you're going to jail for domestic violence in Cleveland, or in California, I'm sorry. Like, it ain't like the rest of America where, like, you may get buried in your boyfriend's backyard for having a warm beer. Handing him a warm beer, like, it's not, that's a different place, like, women are way more empowered there than they ever are anywhere else in the whole world, even. So, yeah, she's not going to take it serious, like,
Well,
like,
not only that, but there was one interview that was like from years ago that I guess the interview person kept for this specific reason because she was like, this chick's a bitch and it's gonna come out one day and I'm gonna have the evidence that she always been a bitch. So, she's interviewing her for this movie, and Blake Lively's like visibly pregnant, you can tell. And she starts off the interview. The interviewer tells her, "Oh, congratulations on your little bump," and then Blake Lively looks at her and goes, "Congratulations on your little bump."
damn.
Like, whoa, what for what? Like, what was that? And then the interviewer looked at them and asked them about like the outfits they had to wear during the movie. They're like, "Oh, did you like the outfit, the costumes?" And then Blake Lively looks at her friend, who's also, maybe not her friend, maybe it was a co-star. Looks at her co-star and goes, "I wonder if they would ask the men these questions." Like, and then the two co-stars just like start having a conversations with themselves and like completely ignores the interviewer for like a solid 5 minutes. It was like the rudest shit I've ever seen in my life. And that lady just told you congratulations on your baby. Like, why are you being a bitch on camera? Why? Like recording? Are you
I mean, to
stupid?
be fair, I think everybody gets like. I think pregnant women get a little bit more leeway of being a bitch.
No, you
Um,
don't. No, you
I've
don't.
never understood it. I don't think like. Granted, you've never been pregnant. I've never been pregnant, obviously. So we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But like everybody kind of just like enables pregnant women to just be cunts sometimes. Have you ever noticed that? Like pregnant women are just assholes to everybody. I'm pregnant, and it's like I don't give a fuck. Like you need to be protecting your baby. Like calm down. Like I'm not gonna do nothing, but you don't know that, and you don't know the next person's not gonna be a fucking crazy psycho. And don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like you need to calm. You need to take your big tits and go over there. Okay, calm your tits. Literally.
Literally. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, I never really heard her out like speak very often, and I think there was a reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, like, she probably understands she is a bitch. So, so she knows, so, like, she's a speak when spoken to thing, but, like, kind of person, but, like, like, when she's spoken to, she hasn't worked on that ability to, come off as, like, a likable person. But, I
Yeah,
mean, like, she's a blonde woman. Like, she doesn't have to be likable. You
right.
know what I mean? Like,
You do have to be likable if it's your career, though.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
You see, like people like you
If
and
you
me.
have it made, she's a made bitch. Like think about it. Like I said, she was Gossip Girl. I really don't know anything else that she's done for the
She's
most part
fine, but
since.
she's in a fuck ton of movies, bro. Like a
But
lot.
nothing ever like successful though. Like name a successful, true blockbuster, like box office drop. You know what I mean? Like she's done a lot of independent flicks, I'm sure. I've seen her in trailers and stuff. And she's in one of my favorite movies, Savages. She wasn't my favorite
Yeah.
part of that movie. And that movie was a bomb though. Like that movie didn't do well. It's one of my favorite movies, but it didn't do well. Um
Well, I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, she
yeah.
doesn't need to be likable, but then again, she was also born rich, so she didn't
Yeah,
have to
she's
become
born
an
rich. Her parents are
actress.
actors.
She wanted
Like
to be an actress. She
she's
wanted to
married
get
to
famous.
she's married to one of the most likable people in the world, let alone Hollywood.
I
You know what I mean? So
wonder
it's kind of
how.
a balancing out act.
Now that I think of it, I wonder how this is going to affect Ryan Reynolds' career
I've
because
been thinking about that all day.
people are like, he's so like funny and like he seems so nice and he's like laid back and why'd you marry a bitch? Well, I care
I
for
mean, I
you.
should faulted for marrying a bitch. I fucking had a kid with a bitch and stayed with her. Was basically married to her for 7 years. So, like,
Do you
I
know?
don't
Do you know that Ryan Reynolds cheated on Scarlett Johansson with Blake
with
Lively?
Blake Lively, yeah. So maybe he's not that nice of a guy, but
And now that you say it, like, what if he's just putting on a front too? I mean, it'd be a good front. But what if he's a
that's
dick
the other
too?
thing. Like, this dude must have really been in love because how you leave Scarlett Johansson for Blake Lively? Now I get Blake Lively is about 6 years younger, and she was definitely in her mid 20s at the time, where Scarlett Johansson was like pushing 30. I think she was about 30. But
Still, but you know what's even
look at
more fucked up?
Scarlett Johansson to this day.
We know what's even more fucked up? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only guy that cheated on her. I'm pretty sure Scarlett Johansson been cheated on more than once.
And then now look at the guy she's with. She's married Colin Jost. You know the guy from the Weekend Update on SNL. Have you ever seen the Joke Swap? Yeah, so okay, so there's two guys, and there's Colin Jost. And look up Colin Jost so you'll know who the fuck I'm talking about. And there's Michael Che, and Michael Che is a black guy, and they do the joke swap where they write jokes for each other and make them say it. It's fucking hilarious. And so
Damn.
Michael J's whole thing always makes Colin Jost say racist jokes. And it's absolutely, you should check it out. It's one of the funniest fucking bits. Still, like, it's the only thing. It's carrying SNL. Like,
Okay. You know she's been
um,
married 3 times. This is her 3rd husband.
yeah, she might not be a great person either. Like, if I'm
At what,
honest,
at,
but
at
like,
what point?
look at her.
At what
Like,
point do you call it quits?
we're calling Jost, I imagine, because look at him. Like, who's she been married? Who else has she been married to? She was married to Ryan Reynolds,
And
Colin Jost.
and
Huh?
Romaine de Urac.
I don't know who that is. He's probably a very good looking guy from that name alone. He's an Italian guy for sure. But
I
like,
don't recognize him. I don't think he was an actor or anything.
he's probably a rich dude. He's probably some fucking like weird fucking executive producer who stays behind the scenes and everything. Um, but yeah, once you step down, like obviously there was a lot of time, and I think she dated somebody in between Ryan Reynolds and Colin Jost because that was like a 10-year gap. But like you go from Ryan Reynolds to Colin Jost, like I feel like you're trying to marry the guy who you think won't cheat on you. You know what I mean? Like, but the problem is, okay, so you marry Ryan Reynolds. Okay, you look at Ryan Reynolds. Like now that you kind of know Ryan Reynolds because he's been more publicly exposed, and I think now he's more of a family man because he's in his late 40s, he's pushing 50, he's got his kids. You know what I mean? I think now he's a family man. But when he was at his like peak Hollywood fuckboy thing, you knew he was gonna cheat. You knew he was gonna. Look at Ryan Reynolds. Look at him. Listen to his mouth. Listen to him talk. Okay. All right. So like, you married a guy hoping that he's a good guy or whatever. Come on. All right. Then you marry Colin Jost or any dude who looks like Colin Jost. He's not a bad looking guy, but he's average. You know what I mean? He's very average looking, especially in Hollywood for Hollywood standards. Um, and you are Scarlett Johansson or of that level, which is very few women. There's probably like 1,000 women on Scarlett Johansson's level in the whole world. Okay, and you married this guy. That's like marrying me. Okay, if I got into shape, if I started jogging, I'd be probably better looking than Colin Jost. Honestly, that's probably a little bit cap, but I'm just gonna say it. All right. So if I marry Scarlett Johansson, I know in my head, I know now that in my head, my ego is gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, I can get any bitch I want now.
Yeah, I pulled Scarlett Johansson. I could pull anybody.
You said what?
Yeah, that's what he's thinking. I pulled Scarlett Johansson, so I can pull anybody.
Exactly. I mean, look at the Pete Davidson effect. He started dating Ariana Grande, and then I
Kim
mean, she turned out to be a
Kardashian.
bitch too, but like now everybody wants a piece. You know what I
And then
mean?
he
It's not even
dated, he
just in
dated
his
Kim
ego. It's
Kardashian.
not even Pete Davidson's ego. It's probably a little his ego because now he can approach anybody. But like all these women are like, well, he dated Scarlett Johansson. Well, he dated Kim Kardashian. Well, he dated Gaia Kerber. He dated the bitch from the vampire. What was the vampire movies? The fucking
Twilight?
huh?
Twilight?
No, the other one, the real dark one with the wolves and shit. Fucking with the guns. They had fucking goddamn not Blade. Um, what is it? Fuck. What is the vampire movie? Kyle, you're in here. What's the vampire movie with the English chick?
With the British chick?
The British, yeah, British. I can't remember. Fucking vampire movies. Yeah, of course, now none of them are gonna pop up. British actor, British. Oh, Underworld.
Oh,
He dated
yeah.
her. He dated
Uh,
her too.
Oh, she's hot.
For like a year, dude. I mean, she's like 20 years older than him. You know, yeah, Underworld. There you go. It's wild, dude. So like, yeah, I'm calling Joe's probably gonna cheat. Probably gonna cheat. That's probably the plight of Scarlett Johansson. There's a point where, like, being too beautiful as a woman actually ruins your life.
Was that so?
So maybe that's what Blake Lively has going for her. That she can be a bitch because like she's average looking. I'm trying to connect the dots here. I'm trying. I don't know if I'm doing a great job. She's an 8. We'll give her an 8 on the scale. But that's like a Hollywood 6, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not trying to talk shit on Blake Lively. She's a beautiful woman. But I mean her fucking personality drags her down to a regular 6 anyway.
Like, I'd hate to have to wait on her in a restaurant.
Yeah, dude. She's probably a douche.
Which makes me wonder if Ryan Reynolds is actually a douche too, and he's just hiding it. I mean, he did get married in
that's what I had read, especially on TikTok. There's a lot of people bashing them both just because he's married to her, pretty much. I'm like,
collateral damage.
Ryan Reynolds didn't do shit, bro. Like, y'all stay out of it. Like, y'all leave him out of it. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. Is like, how the fuck do these two people in this one marriage have 2 completely different, like, months in the same month of August? Like,
I don't know.
because Ryan Reynolds is like on the peak of his career right now, his acting career, and then immediately his wife is just getting fucking dragged, and he's being dragged down because of it a little bit. A lot of people are kind of wanting to like, just because he's married to her, people are making fun of him on TikTok. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but people are like calling them like the mean couple from 9th grade or whatever. Like,
that's so funny.
I'm like, Jesus. Yeah, like and the thing is, when what was it? The interview where the interviewer was talking about something about if somebody approached Blake Lively.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to her like about the movie and about like their, situation, what they've been through. Because the movie's about domestic violence. So if someone wanted to approach you and like tell you like how much that movie meant to them because of their own personal experience, what would you like?
And so she
how would it make you
turned it
feel?
into this whole thing about her phone number or something like that.
Yeah, because she said something about, oh, well, if someone wanted to approach me, like, what are we talking about? Like, are we talking, like, I'm at my house? Am I at a restaurant? Like, did they call my phone? Like,
And then I heard her turn it into like a zodiac thing. She's like, I'm a Virgo, so I need more details. What?
like, bro,
And you can see the other actor's face, and he was just like, oh. Because I think the other actor was the director, too.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just like you can see in his face, he's doing this mentally. You know what I mean? Like,
She's gonna
oh my
ruin his
god,
movie. She's gonna ruin his movie. He's so
oh
mad.
yeah, nobody's gonna go see it now.
Yeah, no one's even talking about the movie. They're talking about her.
Right, this is turning into The Flash. Do you remember when The Flash was supposed to come out, and they started doing press stuff, and then what was it? Ezra Miller was just like
doing
all that fuck shit.
Yeah, like getting into fights and like assaulting people and doing drugs.
It was weird because there was like a week-long stretch where it was like he hit a kid in Hawaii. Now he's in South Africa stealing. I'm like, is he really the Flash? Like, what's going on?
And you notice we hadn't heard much about him since then.
Yeah, no, I think he said he was going to rehab, but that was like 2 years ago. So
rehab makes you stop doing, like, you just stop doing drugs. It doesn't make you a better person. Like,
well, drugs can make you a bad person, though. To be fair,
but some people were bad people before the drugs. Okay, don't use the drugs as an excuse.
Usually, I found that like there's two different types of people who do drugs. People who do drugs because they're bad people, and then those are usually the people that convince the sad people to do drugs. There's sad people. There's bad people and there's sad people who do drugs. Okay, bad people, and I don't mean like recreationally, like every once in a while. Those people are cool and fun to hang out with. But I mean like people who like get like fucked up and strung out on drugs. There's bad people and then there's sad people. And the bad people do it first. They're the first ones to jump onto it. And then they're like they see a sad person and they're like they don't want to be alone, so they're like, hey, come over here. I know you're sad, and then the sad person doesn't want to be alone either, and they get the fucking sad person strung out on drugs. It's a terrible fucking like a terrible world we live in.
I know, it's terrible. Like, why is everybody sharing their drugs? Like, that shit's expensive. Don't share. Keep that for yourself. The fuck?
Because a lot of people are lonely, especially when they're doing drugs. Because like normal people have lives and jobs and kids and shit. You know what I mean? So they're
I
like,
wonder
I
what
can't
that's
do this
like.
all the time. Like,
I wonder what that's like. Like, you know, like being lonely, like needing like outsider validation, because I don't have any of that. Like I used to. And in
I
recent years,
kind of did when I was younger. I didn't.
I give no
I
fuck.
don't need it now. That's how I got with my ex. I needed validation from people, and I didn't want to be lonely. And now I realize that like that's not worth it. Not worth
Sometimes
it.
being like, okay, being alone and being lonely, two different things. I
Yeah,
could be
but I didn't
alone
know
and
that
I'm
at the
not
time.
lonely.
'Cause I really wasn't lonely. I just didn't want to be alone. I've always going out again. I don't like people that much, and I didn't understand that at the time. Because even when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and well into my 20s, I didn't ever party much. I would even go to parties late and then like leave early. Like I don't want to be here. Like I just make an appearance, and then people would be like, "Ah, Cole's here." I'm like, I guess. Like so.
No, I totally get that because that's pretty much how I am. Like, you could be my friend or not. I could give less of a fuck. Honestly, I'm my own friend.
Things with me just pop off anyway. I don't have to be at like a party or a large gathering with people for like shit to go down. You know what I mean? Anything can go down when I'm there. There's like an aura around me that's like, fuck this dude's life up all the time. You know what I
And
mean?
shit's like always going down. Like always.
You too. You get it too. I think it's a curse. It's a family curse.
We were told we had a family curse, but we didn't know if it was true.
Ah.
We were, like some witch doctors down here in New Orleans, like he kind of got on bad terms with them, and he mentioned something about, oh, they might have put a hex on me and my whole family when I was younger, or
He's
something
been
like that,
fucking couple
something
witches.
to that
You know?
effect. And I'm like, you don't think maybe you should have like tried to stop it or like try to reverse it?
No,
Or
Papa is like the most nonchalant guy I know. Like he just will tell you a story and then act like it's not that big a deal. And I'm just like, that's the biggest deal I've ever heard. And I
meanwhile,
kind of do that too to an extent, but he's way worse.
meanwhile, the story is like him selling guns to undercover cops by accident.
Yeah, or getting stabbed in the ribs in the middle of a fucking like bar jumping, and he'd be like, yeah, because he had a scar in his ribs. He had his shirt off while we were doing gardening, and he had his shirt off. I was like, what is that big ass fucking scar on your ribs? And he's like, oh yeah, somebody stabbed me when I was getting in a bar fight. I was like, oh, you were in a bar fight and you were stabbed. And I'm like, oh, so this was like when you were younger. He's like, nah, it was like 4 years ago. I'm like,
Damn,
Jesus,
damn.
bro.
He stayed getting into shit. He stayed getting into shit.
What the fuck?
Bro, that is fucked up. But you want to know something interesting? The dynamic that you just described about our grandfather, how he's so chill and laid back, but the woman he was married to, our grandmother, was a total bitch. That's just like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's more common. I guess someone needs to tell the server that they forgot his fucking pickles. I guess that's
Well, I think also like women are just more enabled to be bitches. Like we can't do anything about it. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, who's gonna do anything about?
You know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? If someone's being a bitch, be a bitch back. Why are you complaining about it? Serve them the same energy. Oh, she's a bitch. Can't no. Start being a bitch back to her. Who gives
Yeah,
a fuck?
but, like people will like try to like act like you're not allowed to like be a bitch to women. Like that's the whole thing. Dudes will try to fight you for being rude to a woman,
You
just
can
in
be
general.
you can be whoever you want
Even
to
if
be.
that dude has nothing to do with that woman. You know what I mean? Like they'll try to fuck you up over a woman. And it's just like, dude, you don't have the whole context of the story. You know what I mean? Like, not only are women enabled because nobody will do anything, but people will protect women and their right to be a bitch. Like it's crazy.
Oh, excuse me. Well, yeah, pretty much. Well, to be fair, not all of us started out as bitches. Some of us just like became that way.
I
Like
don't
we
think
turned into
everyone
one.
is a bitch, but I'm saying there's really nothing you can do about the ones that are, and it's a growing like epidemic. You know,
Yeah, I think I'm growing into that epidemic. I think I'm gonna be a bitch, and I think I'm okay with it, honestly.
are we pro or are we like anti Blake Lively being a bitch then?
She can be whatever she wants to be. She's rich. Who cares?
Okay,
What
so
are you
but
gonna
like
you?
as of now, based off of all the information we've talked about, are we on her side or are we against her? That's what
Neither.
are you against her? I don't care either way.
My
It doesn't affect me. I don't give a shit.
That's what I'm saying. My life is still gonna go on. Like still gotta go to work
Right.
tomorrow. It has nothing to do with me. At the end of the
I
day,
think
like
I think that's the other thing is like people are just sensitive because of the topic of the movie. But
yeah,
I
like
think
if this was any other interview, they probably wouldn't give a fuck. They'd just be like, "Oh, she's kind of ditzy, you know. I mean, what do you get?
she's
She's
a bad
blonde. Like, what
bitch.
do you
Like
figure?"
yes,
Like,
girl.
you know? Like if it was
Yeah,
another movie,
so
they'd be like, "She's just a ditzy."
yeah, it's just because it's a domestic violence movie. That's all it is. And I
It's a
think
sensitive
people need to
topic.
like stop taking that fucking topic so seriously too, because like holy shit, is that like the first thing that gets thrown out every time there's an argument between a guy and a girl now? Oh, they're abusive. This person's toxic. He's a narcissist. Oh no. Why don't you just stay out of it?
Why
And
don't you
like,
just
if it gets violent, we'll call the cops, like, and get the courts involved. Like, y'all mind your business.
no?
You
Because
know?
that's how I had my friends over the other day, and they're telling me about their friend and how she's going through it with her boyfriend, who's like a piece of shit, and he don't have a job, and he's starting to put his hands on her, and I'm like. So he's being toxic to her. Okay, well she needs to start being toxic back because this whole you're gonna hurt me and I'm just gonna live with it is bullshit. Like, well, yeah, obviously she needs to get out of it. No, it definitely, yeah, yeah, and they got yeah, no, you definitely have a point there. Um, Yeah. And I just feel like we just got to start, like, you know how everyone's like, oh, you got to turn the other cheek. You got to be the bigger person. No, you don't. Like, just give people the same energy they've been giving you. And I promise they're either going to stop or it's going to get worse. And at that point, you just like go big or go home. Like, you're not going to out bitch me. Maybe when I was younger and I was worried about hurting people's feelings, but now I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck about my feelings. Why should I give a fuck about yours? But my whole thing is, I'm not going to be a bitch to someone unless they're being a bitch to me first. I'm going to reciprocate. So that's what I'm going to start doing. Like, if your boyfriend's putting his hands on you, start putting your hands on all his friends. Like, you're not gonna sit here and beat on me and expect me to just live with it. No, I told my friends, tell that girl to start. No, it's not gonna solve the problem, but at some point you gotta stop being scared of motherfuckers. Like, oh, he's gonna hit me. Push a bottle over his head. Like, who the fuck cares? He wants to fight. Give him something to fight for. Like, you gotta stop being so. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not trying to like down anyone's situation. If you're in a domestic violence situation and you're scared for your life, obviously don't try to, escalate the situation. But god damn it, like the first time that motherfucker slaps you, fucking slap him back. Like, come on. You got from jump, you gotta let these hoes know that you cannot fucking put your hands on me, bro. Like, you cannot cheat on me because I'll cheat back. Like, I even told him, just that girl that was having the issues with her boyfriend, just start texting other dudes and like leaving your phone unlocked, laying around. Just start fucking with their head, man. Don't let these people get one over on you. Fuck them. And people need to stop being so. People need to stop being so worried about like everyone else's situation and just worry on yourself. Like, even your like girlfriend and your boyfriend, like I get that y'all are together and everything, but like focus on yourself. Like, go to therapy, go to college, get your career, make some money. But quit putting all of your like time and energy into your relationship. And I've seen a lot of that, especially on social media these days, where everybody is just like glamorizing and romanticizing like the girlfriend boyfriend life. You should be glamorizing things like college and education and paying your bills and owning land and like stuff like that. Like, why can't we worry about love later? Why we gotta worry about it right now? Because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna have your back like you have your back. Not even your boyfriend, not even your girlfriend. I don't care who's watching this being like, oh, my boyfriend have my. Your boyfriend will probably have your back 99%. And your girlfriend probably have your back 99%. But when it comes down to me or you, that 1% is going to come into play. You have got to have your back before you have anybody else's. Maybe your kids, I could see, you got to have your kids back. But you even taking care of your kids, you got to have your own back first. You got to have, money to pay for your kids. You got to have, a car to drive your kids around and stuff like that. You have got to make sure you're good before you can do anything else. Before you could get into a good relationship, you have to be good on your own. You have to like work on yourself. I can ramble on all I want. It's my fucking podcast. Like, get fucked. Who cares? Like, if you don't want to listen to me, go somewhere else. No one's making you be here. Jeez. People got a lot to say when they're behind a fucking camera. I think Cole may have left, but that's okay. Because I'm here and I'm on anyway. No. Which is why I'm planning on going to college next year. And it's probably going to be for psychology. Because I'm very interested in knowing why people do what they do and what makes them do what they do. I'm really more interested in like two people who like grew up the same way and had the same things happen to them. Why is it that they'll go in different directions? Like two brothers could have like an alcoholic father, and one would grow up to never drink alcohol, but one would grow up to be an alcoholic. But you would ask them, how come you don't drink? One would say, because my father was an alcoholic. And you would ask this one, how come you drink? He would say, because my father was an alcoholic. So why is it that two people who came from the same background would go different directions? That's what I'm really interested in. I'm also very interested in like sociopaths and psychopaths because it comes with the whole question about like, is a sociopath born or created, or is a psychopath born or created? Is it nature or is it nurture? The woman huh? Mm-mm. Look, someone commented, it said, the woman promotes selfishness and responding to negative events in your life with negative actions. Unfortunate she sees the world like this. No one gives a fuck about how you feel, bro. You can take it somewhere else. I'm gonna respond to however I want with however I want. Like, if I want to be negative, I'm gonna be negative. What you gonna do to stop me? I saw a video on TikTok the other day of a politician hitting his vape in like a courthouse. That was pretty great. He ghosted it too. Good for him. He still got lungs even though he's old. The other day I was doing my laundry and I accidentally like spilled some of it like on the side of the washer and I like scooped it back up into the bottle because groceries are way too fucking expensive to be wasting that shit. Back again. Nope, can't see you still. Sorry about the technical difficulties, y'all. They had a tornado in Ohio and everyone's internet's been messed up since then. Hopefully it'll be back on track next week. Relationship dynamics and toxic people being toxic to each other. Oh, I think it was because I said that social media has put a lot of emphasis on like love and romance and all that. Yeah. Uh, well, the thing is like you got to stop looking for it. It's gonna find you. Like when you're looking so hard, you're just gonna go after whoever. You know, you don't have to date the first person that shows you attention. You know, and we had a conversation about this in one of the other lives that the whole like dating the dating scene has kind of like died out because nowadays when people say, oh, you're entertaining multiple dudes or you're entertaining multiple girls, like If we're not in a relationship, what's it matter who I'm entertaining? That's what dating is. Like one time, like you go on a date with one guy, maybe 3 days later you go on a date with a different guy because we're dating. We're getting to know each other. We're not in a relationship. We're not exclusive. As like I think people are more concerned like what people are doing, and that's fine. And that's fine. And that's something you could bring up like on a first date. It's like I'm not really interested in the whole entertaining multiple people or anything. So if you got other people on your roster, just let me know. I'm not really interested in being like an option. Those are things you can say, but also that person doesn't have to abide by that rule. You can just be like, oh, it's not for you, but it's for me. That's fine. Well, clearly, right? Clearly, we're not compatible. But like you being upset or like visibly bothered by it, like, oh, they're talking to multiple people. Da, 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 da. Okay, be mad about it. Yeah, it just wouldn't be for you, and that's fine. So you wouldn't. Yeah, but right. Yeah. And that makes sense for you, for someone in your position. You don't want to waste time and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're trying to get to know the person before you decide you want to be in a relationship with them, what's it matter if you go out on a date and you get to know them? And because a lot of people think that there's a lot of stigma about, oh, if they're having sex on the first date, da 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 da. That's not as common as you would think. It's not always like that. A first date, you're really filling out the situation. If you get a second date, they're interested in you. And by the third date, and a lot of women know that. Like a lot of us take that into account. Like well, a lot of older women tell younger women don't have sex on the first date because then they'll think you're a slut and they won't respect you. So I've heard that a lot. I've even heard you got to wait till the third date before you can have sex with them. And it's so much to the point where it's just by the third date. 2 weeks makes sense, because you don't want to seem too. I don't think so, because you don't want to seem too eager, because that puts women off sometimes. Not all women, but some women being too eager kind of comes off as desperation, which is not at all attractive to a woman. If a woman thinks you're desperate, it's just an instant turnoff. I don't know why. But you also don't want to wait too long and make it seem like you're not interested, because like, so in my mind, a first date would go like you guys meet up, or maybe you met online, or maybe you just like met in a cafe or something, and you're like, oh, let's go on a date, and they go have a date, and then you exchange numbers or something. You're like, oh, well, give me a call sometimes. And I would expect the guy to call like the next day, not the night, but the next day, be like, oh, hey, just wanted to give you a call, see how you're doing. This is my number. I had a great time last night. Let me know if you want to do this again. And, something to that effect. And then another 3 or 4 days go by. You have a second date. Okay. On the second date, maybe you give it a week, because like you said, you don't want to seem too eager. But by that point, it's been 2 weeks. So I think that's a reasonable amount of time to have 3 dates is 2 weeks. Yeah, if you're talking to them too much, they might not like that. But if you're talking to them too little, they're not like that either. There's like, you're trying too hard. Because if I'm the first thing on your mind when you wake up, you clearly don't have anything better going for you. Like, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no career, you ain't got, like, go take your vitamins. Why are you texting me the moment your eyelids open? Maybe, that's a better way of doing it. Wait until later on in the day. You're not doing it every morning, are you? No, no, no. Every morning? Jesus Christ. I don't know. It's weird. It gives me the ick. I don't know, because like I feel like a good morning text is like reserved for like people you're in a relationship with. I don't know why. You're not out of like courtesy, not because you really care. So women probably know that you're only saying good morning because you want to bang them. Like, they probably know. If you say so. Yo, you want to hear something that's gonna piss you off even more? I was taking a customer's order the other day. There's just one guy, and after I was finished taking his order, he was like, "You're pretty," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." But in my mind, I was like, "The fuck am I supposed to do with that information? Like, what the fuck does that do for me? Like, okay, you think I'm pretty, okay, and like, are you gonna tip me? Like, what the fuck? What is you think? You know, I'm gonna say thank you because I understand it's supposed to be a compliment, but genuinely, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that information? Okay, because clearly being pretty ain't done much for me. I work at a diner. All right. So, what is me knowing that you think I'm pretty gonna do for me? You know, like I didn't do anything to look like this. My face just looks like this. I don't. It low key irritates me. Why is it? Why is it? But why does it? Why is it? Why is it a compliment? Because here's the thing: a compliment is like someone telling you something that they think, right? Because they're like, "Oh, you have a very pretty smile," and you're like, "Oh, thank you." Like clearly, you think I have a pretty. I can appreciate that, but you just outright being like, "You're pretty." That's just a statement. It's not even a compliment. Like I own a mirror. I know I'm pretty, but what does me knowing that you think I'm pretty? What does that change? Like, why did, and I know it sounds rude. I don't give a fuck how it sounds because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I still told the dude thank you. Like what I'm narrating right now is the voices, like the things I say in my head. I don't really speak to people this way. You know, I said, oh, thank you. But genuinely, what is that information going to do for me? Okay, you think I'm pretty. What else? What the fuck is it going to do? It's not going to do shit for me. What am I supposed to? Oh, thank you so much. I do my makeup just so people would think I'm pretty. No, no one gives a fuck if you think I'm pretty, dude. I don't care what you think at all, honestly. Gee, like I can't help it. That's what I'm saying. If you complimented me on something that I put no effort into, if you complimented me and was like, "Oh, you got great ethic," I'd be like, "Thank you so much. I try really hard." But you said you're pretty, right? Like, thank you for stating the obvious. Like, what the fuck am I supposed yeah, it's a little racist if you say it like that. But I didn't understand what the dude was getting at when okay, you tell me I'm pretty. Now I know you think I'm pretty. What the fuck am I supposed to do? What am I like? Am I supposed to give you my number or some shit? What is that doing for me? I don't know, man. It's just weird. It was just no, not really. Nicotine. It's nicotine. I mean, I'm all for it. Like, if y'all got a designated smoking section in the building, like, cool. Or like, you mean? Yeah, no, I don't see anything wrong with it as long as they're following the rules that we all have to follow. Like, I can't smoke in a federal building. Why should you? Why should you be allowed to? Oh my God, did you? There was a video I saw on TikTok of like this teenage kid ran into a courthouse with like a bunch of guns in his backpack. And they're like, dude, what the fuck were you thinking? And he was like, well, I was getting shot at. So I figured I could just run in here for safety. Like, I figured I wouldn't die. That was smart as fuck. Because at least he's alive. I don't know, dude. I think it was like Baltimore or some shit. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that shit was crazy. But anyway, I hope we have a better live stream next week. Hopefully your camera's all fixed and maybe I won't be. Yeah.